Hello and welcome to another episode of One Fall WrestleCast Live. Tom and I are here with you today. We've got plenty of things to talk about. Bunch of releases in WWE. Is this foreshadowing some possible changes in the pro wrestling landscape that might be coming down the pipe here? Um, obviously the first couple of weeks coming outside of the first couple of episodes coming out of the Royal Rumble, where we're headed, what that's going to look like, and yeah, bunch more fun stuff. And I'm sure Tom's going to probably dog all over Dynamite because that's just what we're doing this year so far. After we thought it was getting good, yeah. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
Waffle!
What's up, dude?
Nothing. Absolutely. Well, I mean, plenty. It's been a fucking day. I am sick of being cold. I'll tell you what. I am fucking sick of being cold. I feel like my hands and feet have been cold since I turned 40. I don't know if it was a problem with turning 40 or if it's just been a fucking brutal winter and it's been cold. But I've not been able to be warm for more than an hour or two at a time, and I'm sick of it. So there's that. Plus, I watched a shitload of wrestling today, which is good, but that it was more of a coping mechanism than it was a enjoyable. It was like, give me my security blanket. I'm tired of being cold. Give me wrestling.
Snuggled up in your snuggie.
So I don't have a snuggie. What I have is more of a cloak. It's a blanket, but it's got snaps on it, and I snap it all together. I look like I'm wearing a cape. It's pretty good. It's pretty cool.
Yep, in my snuggie.
I'm mad snuggie. I'm mad snuggie. Shout out to Mikey and Big Bob, Pittsburgh legends, and their snuggie song.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
It's only 15 years old. It's a really old, really obscure reference. So
let's go ahead and let's roll right into it here. Can't wait to just start the show off with some Dave Meltzer reporting.
oh boy,
So I sent this in the group earlier this week.
yeah.
And I've been just sitting here looking at it for the last couple of days, and it's like, man, I'm gonna start the show with this piece of business. Okay, Dave Meltzer has reported that Cena versus WWE Universal Champion Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 41, with Cena winning the Elimination Chamber, was the plan since probably October or November for one of the main events, with the story of Cena going for the record 17th world title.
I mean, that doesn't seem illogical. That's a pretty.
No.
But that's as good of a get. Like, do you need to be an insider to say something like? I guess if you're putting a timestamp on it in October, but you could make that up easily. Like, is that not painfully obvious to everybody else? Like that's probably what's going to happen now, especially so tonight. First thing, Jay came out, yeeted everybody, and then Gunther showed up and beat the tar out of him. And then Jay was like, I don't know if I should say this, Gunther, it's me and you at WrestleMania. And then Gunther came back and they fought a little more and got dive onto him and all that shit. So, whomever wins the chamber is fighting with Cody, and I'm pretty sure the only person who's going to win the chamber is John Cena.
Jacob Fatu.
See, that would be great, but that's not a WrestleMania match.
Why?
Because WrestleMania is for the marks. So you're going to put John Cena.
What a bigger way to play to the marks than with the Samoan Werewolf versus Cody Rhodes. But
he's not. It's not
understand how much more marky you can get than that.
It's not a money match. It's not a money match.
But why? Because it's the indie-rific. It's an indie-rific booking. Is that why it's not a money match?
No, yeah, because
they're both in WWE. It's indie-rific or not. I mean, if we're trying to fire shots across the bow of AEW, which seemingly has been a thing recently.
We can get into them next. Well, we can talk about them next. But I'm telling you right now that it's WrestleMania and that they're going to put on the biggest. There's nobody that's been bigger in the last 20 years than John Cena. If they have the opportunity to put John Cena in the main event of John Cena's last WrestleMania, they're absolutely going to take it. Jacob Fatu can main event the next 15 WrestleManias easily. The man's only like 32 years old.
I live in a world where John Cena wins Money in the Bank. That is the most logical explanation for me for him to win number 17. The man has not won a singles match in like 3,000 days, bro.
He's not. Yeah.
Like, you can't put him into the Elimination Chamber with Jacob Fatu and Seth Rollins and CM Punk and expect me to believe that he's going to win that.
Look, I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying that I know the way that WrestleMania has been booked the last few years. And remember, they were about to make it The Rock versus Roman Reigns until the crowd almost ate them alive.
Exactly.
So I think that John Cena probably is the plan, unless the crowd is ready to eat everyone alive.
I think it's a terrible idea.
I'm not arguing. I mean, that's it. Yes, I'm with you on that. I just think that's the plan.
And I'm very much on Team 17 here, but I don't think that you whore out the main event of WrestleMania when he's going to be gone at the end of the year.
Oh yeah, but look, they would love to whore out the main event. What if Cody beats him at WrestleMania?
I mean, that's intriguing.
Right? Like, what if Cody beats him? Because you might be right about the Money in the Bank. But that makes this the year of John Cena, right? And then John Cena's got to cash in the Money in the Bank contract, and that makes it like the whole thing. But at the same time, it also makes it like we just gonna let John Cena lose a little bit of everything from here for the rest of the year. Like, what's the? I get it, but like, you know how the. What if Cody beats him at WrestleMania?
I mean, that's intriguing, but I think that it still just circles back to the problem that we've been having. But I mean, maybe it's a vehicle for, Cody to be a little more Homelander-y.
Maybe.
I mean, I could see that working too. It's just, it's hard for me to wrap my head around the fact that John Cena is going to be in the main event at WrestleMania.
I mean, what do you think of John Cena's last WrestleMania? He's just not going to be on WrestleMania?
I didn't say that. I just don't think that.
Is he going to be like the special
CM Punk with CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins? You're going to tell me that we're going to use John Cena to main event WrestleMania?
What if it's a triple threat?
And we're going to put the three of them in a triple threat match?
What if it's a triple? Well, I'm just saying. What if it's a triple threat? John Cena and Cody and somebody else.
I think that's bullshit too. I
mean, it absolutely is. But let's not pretend like they didn't do that with Roman and Edge and Daniel Bryan.
Well, that's because Vince thought Edge looked old.
I'm just saying.
That's where that came from.
Sure.
Vince thought Edge looked old on TV, so they added Daniel Bryan into the mix because Vince thought Edge looked old.
I mean,
hey, speaking of, did you see Vinnie Mac at the Super Bowl last
night?
I did
see Vinnie Mac.
Vinnie Mac looking a little trimmed up. He looks a little trim. He looks like he's in good shape.
He looks like he's been not hitting the gym as hard. He's got the pompadour back.
Yeah, and that fucking mustache is gone. Yeah, so he doesn't look like, middle age or not middle age, like
divorced
old,
dad.
haggard, hanging on to life at Magnum PI.
No, he does not look like that. He looks like he brought the pompadour back. He shaved the mustache. The hair's back to that salt and pepper that he always wore. He looked good at WrestleMania, and
he was there with Vinnie Mac.
Despite the case being dropped, people still giving him shit about it. Well, don't forget. I don't know, man.
I mean, he still pooped on a girl's head.
Like, I mean, he probably.
I mean, she's still suing him. Like,
yeah,
that case has not been resolved.
Yeah, well, I mean, he owes her money. He definitely owes her money.
Oh, for sure.
He definitely owes her money.
Yeah.
Like we have that paperwork is that he owes her money.
Oh yeah. Well, he's just been cleared that he didn't steal from his own company to pay for said pooping on heads.
Right. Yeah,
that's all that proves.
Yeah, he definitely owes her money.
I mean, hey, Shane was with him too. You know what I'm saying?
That I thought was that was interesting. I was like, huh. They talk now.
I mean, and then Tony Khan was sitting across the stadium.
He was indeed.
And then your favorite was up in the box.
Taylor Swift.
No, your other favorite.
Oh, the other guy. Yeah, he got flipped off by some Eagles fan. He left early, and then he decided to be mean to Taylor Swift on Twitter later.
And then a man got murdered on the halftime show. R.I.P. Drake.
Drake.
It's just I don't.
we get reports came out today that
crazy.
Drake was not happy with the hat. Like, really? There's you know what else? There's forks in the kitchen. That's water is wet.
I mean, whew.
Oh, and speaking of my other least favorite person, he also was not kind to Kendrick Lamar on Twitter, and then Twitter dove all over him. Like, of course, he called out a child molester. You're a child molester. Yeah. It's all the same. Yeah. So, I guess all them child molesters got to stick together.
Hey,
Trump,
I mean, he could have asked Vinnie Mac what the going rate for head pooping is.
He could have. I bet Vince would have told him, well, pal, I told her $3 million, but I only gave her $1 million.
It's a business. That's good shit.
Johnny Ace fucking loved it.
I'm at the Super Bowl and he's probably at fucking Hooters.
Crying into his hot wings. How is Johnny Ace the biggest villain coming out? Right?
Like it's crazy.
He's the one taking all the heat for this. Fuck Johnny Ace.
That's what he's always done, taking Vinnie Mac's heat. Taking Vinnie Mac's heat.
Fuck Johnny Ace. That's why. So
you said that you want to do
wanted to get on to Dynamite. So watch it today. Started out real rough. With ye old Don Fallis family, and it was so the really clunkily introduced the newest member of the Don Callis family. What's his name? The dude with the huge ass. Kyle Fletcher's the other one. The other guy that was in Aussie.
I don't remember his name. But
yeah,
he has
you know what I'm talking. The guy
the comically large posterior.
Yeah, the guy with the comically large ass. Anyway, so he's the newest member of the Don Callis family, along with Kyle Fletcher.
Well, it was just because Kyle probably felt bad that he got left behind.
Well, he didn't. Well, but for the longest time too, when Kyle had joined the Don Callis family, like there was a couple weeks, Mark something, whatever. That they were trying to entice him into the Don Callis family, and then he was just gone for like a month. And this happened at the end of the year last year, and then he was just gone, and now he's back, and he's just a member of the Don Callis family now. No explanation, no ifs, ands, ors, or buts about it. So that first segment was kind of a wet turd, and I'm like, oh man, it's gonna fucking suck after this, and
Hey, we got a problem up there?
There you go. Get him. So
I gotta put my dad hat on.
all right, go put the dad hat on.
I'll be back.
All right. Oh, Mark Davis. That's the guy's name. Okay, Mark Davis. Oh, I totally forgot. And I'll wait for Walt to get back on this. But it did start out with our boy, the artist formerly known as Edge, coming out and being, starts just kicking off the show with Rated FTR and with Jay White hanging out, which I thought was weird. Switchblade being there. I mean, I know he's been there, like he was there last week too with him. So yeah, kind of a weird start to Dynamite, particularly in the first two segments. I don't know why they would choose to start it out this way. It feels like a, I guess they're just trying to do a continuation of what happened the week before, but it really was just like kind of a weird way to start Dynamite, because it was like, all right, this thing that's already not over, and somebody, like a bunch of people who are actively chasing off viewers, like, we're going to start the show with the Death Riders, or at least whomever's about to fight the Death Riders, to sort of chase off sort of whomever our lead in is. And I thought that was kind of a weird, like, bad way to start it. Usually the Death Riders and stuff have been later in the card on the night. Once things have kind of died down, they try to start the show a little hot. And I can't say that this was the hottest start, especially coming off what was a stinker, I thought, of a show last week. They kind of came in a little rocky this week, so I kind of would have thought that they would have tried to put something out there that's actually over, to kick off the show, something that actually people care about, whether it be Mariah May, or even start out with Harley Cameron coming out, maybe do something, let her play guitar to kind of start out the thing, be a jerk to Mercedes. I thought something to that effect, something that's been getting hype online, I thought would have been a good way to kind of start the show and kind of grab everybody and make things sort of like start out a little hotter. But that was not the case. So the first probably half hour.
Yeah, you want something hot? I'll tell you something hot, man. Hey, have you ever seen Rampage? Rampage is the greatest show on television. It's the greatest show on television every single Friday. It's Friday. We don't know what time it's going to be on Rampage, but Rampage is going to rampage. You know what I mean? Rampage? Hey. Oh, shit. Wait. Rampage got canceled. What?
Collision.
Yeah. No, that's too obvious. How about Ring of Honor? Huh? Yeah. We'll talk about Ring of Honor. Hey, I was at the Super Bowl yesterday. Were you at the Super Bowl yesterday? Had a great time. Lots of cocaine.
So anyway, I was just saying they kind of started out the show a little wet blanket, because before this Don Callis family match, which I thought was bad. Mark Davis is who I was talking about, by the way. We had Cope come out and challenge the
On
Death
this
Rider.
day, I see clearly.
Now with Cope, he's with FTR, so it's Rated FTR, but also Switchblade Jay White has been hanging out with them as sort of a tenuous fourth. At least I guess they just need something to do with him until Juice Robinson comes back. Remember when we thought Switchblade was going to be a big deal, and then he never was?
Once it became WWE, probably would have been a big deal.
Yeah, probably should have.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Listen, he started off just like any other shiny new toy for Tony Khan in the sandbox. Like, I mean, he was in a hot feud for the world title. You know what I'm saying? And then,
it seemed dangerous. Seemed real fucking dangerous. Anyway, so after the little thing there, Kenny Omega showed up, and then he and Will Ospreay gave a little promo after the Will Ospreay Mark Davis match, where Will Ospreay obviously beat Mark Davis. And that was kind of this was not the greatest start to Dynamite, right? Like, we get a start with like Cope and FTR and like hodgepodge. So and then we get a bad Don, but at least we got all the bullshit out of the way, right? So we don't have to look at fucking Cope, Rated FTR, or the Death Riders again. We don't have to look at Don Callis or any more of his family Well, actually, that's not true. But so moving
I
on,
don't
then
think none of that you just said is true. I mean, Death Riders are on the show at least 6 times a fucking week.
well, they didn't come back. They didn't come back on Wednesday, and it was all for the better. So then we get the Hurt Syndicate, and I'm immediately like, I'm back in. I'm like, all right, cool. Fucking MVP's got a mic in his hands. All is well. Hurt Syndicate's out in the ring. Boom, guns up. The Guns music hits. Guns are back.
Bang, bang, gang.
So, well, but it's just the Guns. They cut a promo, say, "Hey, those are our tag team titles. We never got our rematch. I want my tag team. We want our tag team titles back." They're the baby faces going into this. They cut a baby face promo. They called them the Hurt Syndicate. I think it
There's
was.
There's no baby faces in heels in AEW.
Well, there were baby faces here, because the Hurt Syndicate then called them the Ass Boys, and they brought up Billy Gunn and all this other stuff. Called them the Ass Boys, and they're like, "Yeah, we are the Ass Boys, and if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you: guns up." And
Danhausen.
I think Danhausen's released. Am I wrong?
You are wrong.
Okay, he's
in contract jail.
Television. He's in catering. He's in jail.
Yeah, he's in contract jail, just like a couple other people that I think that we're going to talk about today.
Yes. Okay, so that happened. That segment was really, really good. And then, okay, I was wrong because there was more Don Callis family, but we didn't. Don Callis wasn't on. Well, he kind of was on commentary, but then he was kind of fucking with people. So we got Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher versus the Hounds of Hell. Good little match. Obviously, Takeshita and Fletcher, or Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher win because they're going into the thing with Kenny Omega, so they need to look strong. So they beat Buddy Murphy and Brody King clean. Not happy about that because now Brody and Buddy. Okay, sorry, Buddy Matthews. Is that what we're shaking our head about? Buddy Matthews. Sorry.
I mean, he's going to be Buddy Murphy here in about 3 months.
Yeah.
But let's just
Mommy's husband.
Yeah.
So anyway, so after that we do get sort of a quick Mercedes Moné interrupting Harley Cameron backstage segment. Harley Cameron is carrying this feud on her shoulders, which is difficult because she's got a lot to carry anyway. But Harley Cameron is showing more light. Harley Cameron is getting more life out of Mercedes Moné, and Mercedes did steal the puppet, which I thought was funny. So that got a pop out of me. Then MJF comes out to be a dick to everybody. I thought this segment was bad, but the internet didn't. So like,
because it's all they got left.
Right. So like Max Caster is chasing Hangman around for some reason. It doesn't really make sense. They interrupted MJF, and then out came Dustin Rhodes, who also interrupted MJF. MJF made fun of Jeff Jarrett, but we didn't see Jeff Jarrett. And then he and Dustin Rhodes had a little face-off, and that seemed more interesting than anything else that was going on in there. But it seems like MJF is trying to set up a feud with a bunch of individual people, and I don't know that it's going to go anywhere. I don't know that this made sense because the internet's like, oh, it just set up so many matches for MJF, and I think this could be forgotten next week, and it probably will be. But maybe we'll get Dustin Rhodes versus.
Hey,
MJF.
did you see that video of him from this past week?
Of who?
Dustin? MJF.
No.
Guy approaches him at a meet and greet with a stack full of Polaroid pictures that he took at a show, and MJF's like, "Man, this is great. These are great shots. These are great. Man, look how many people are there. Man, do you remember when we used to draw big crowds?" He's like, and the guy that took the picture was like, "Yeah, when you were the champion." He goes, "Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, whenever I was a fucking champion. Crazy. Who would have ever fucking thought?" And then he goes back and he signs the pictures, and like he just keeps on going.
No, I wouldn't. But
it's all over the internet.
That's sort of the vibe you get from this as well, is that like he's just burying everybody as they came out, including Hangman Adam Page, Max Caster, Dustin Rhodes, Jeff Jarrett. He might have taken a shot at a couple other people. Anyway, then there's a little cool backstage segment where Samoa Joe and Hook killed Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian, who now is apparently also part of the patriarchy. I forgot about that.
Yep. And then Christian opened the door and was like, you guys will figure it out.
You guys are good. And then we get what I thought was the best part of the night. Timeless Toni Storm comes back dressed as Mariah May to she was playing the role of the glamour Mariah May.
I'll tell you what, what a just fantastic cinematic performance by Timeless Toni Storm.
Yes.
She really gave the character Mariah May some, how do I want to put this? Some backbone.
Some kind of back.
Right there.
Yeah, some kind of back. Yeah, that's a good
man.
Good way to put it. She beat Queen Amanita in what I thought was a pretty solid Toni Storm performance. It was a performance. It was not a match. It was a performance. I thought it was great. Mariah May was on commentary, which didn't matter because fucking Tony Schiavone and Excalibur walked all over her on commentary, which I thought was pretty fucking terrible. If I'm being from a commentary standpoint, their commentary, Tony Storm or fucking Tony Schiavone and Excalibur.
Oh.
I feel like I say this every week, but by this time in the show, I am so ready for them to shut the fuck up that like I muted it halfway through this match because I didn't want to hear what they had to say anymore because they're stepping all over Mariah May. Serena Deeb was like watching as well closely. I don't know why, but Serena Deeb was watching
because she's the professor.
She's the professor, yes. Anyway, and then something happened with Jericho. I kind of fast forwarded. I didn't really care. I'm not going to watch any Jericho segments. I'm sorry. I feel like this makes the show better. So I fast forwarded through the Jericho segment. Then we get what I believe was the main event because I stopped watching after this. Was Ricochet versus Swerve Strickland. As Swerve was making his debut, Ricochet beat the fuck out of him with a chair. Like just like Swerve was coming out, Swerve when I drive, just Ricochet just showed up and just like beat the fuck out of him with a chair. Like all the way to the ring, beat the living fuck out of him with a chair. They had a pretty good match, 15 minutes, but Swerve was fighting underneath the whole time. Swerve did land a Swerve stomp, got a couple near falls. Ricochet ends up winning, which I thought was a great call. Really, really, I mean, if you watch anything, I would say watch this match. Watch the main event. Probably fine to watch it on mute. I did unmute commentary. They added nothing.
I don't hate them nearly as much as you do.
So I wish I had the option now that they're on Max to just cut out commentary entirely, and then I could only hear who was talking in the ring and chair shots and body shot. I feel like it would make the show that much better. At least it certainly would have made this match better. But that being said, Dynamite seems to have found some footing towards the end of the show, particularly after a rocky start. So let's hope that they continue to carry this momentum into next week because I was excited by the time the show was over, but I was very disappointed with the beginning of the show. I really wish they would replace everybody on commentary.
Well, they're just not going to do that. So
they're not, but I really wish that they would.
So
except Nigel. I like Nigel.
Nigel McGinnis.
Nigel's good.
I like Nigel.
But anyway, that's what happened then. I did not watch Saturday. So I have no idea what happened on Collision. I don't even know who was on it. I assume Collision's also the Samoa Joe show. So probably Samoa Joe was there, but who knows?
The Samoa Joe show, eh? Oh. Eh? Huh?
Beat the fuck out of some guys. So what else we got? So we got lots of releases to talk about. Is that where we are at this point in the show? We're going to talk about the people that don't have jobs anymore or who won't have jobs in the next 90 days.
We can do that, I guess.
Indy Hartwell is free, by the way, so we'll probably be seeing her somewhere in shortness.
So
90 days is about up.
First and foremost, this week I got this little alert that Elijah, the former Elias in WWE, has officially signed a deal with AEW/Ring of Honor. Now this is Dave reporting this.
There was he cut a online vignette as well.
Yes,
Very good.
I think it's a little weird that a guy who was on primetime television has to be relegated first to Ring of Honor, but hopefully they'll push his new faction and we'll get to see him on Dynamite at some point. Him and Harley Cameron having a face-off with their guitars in place and mics in hand. Take my money. I mean, I think that Elijah, aka or FKA,
Elias,
was just a pure example of wasted potential.
Yeah, I agree.
Dude looks like $1 million. He talks like $1 million. He works like
$20,
couple $100,000.
Yeah, okay, we'll go. His work was fine, good enough for television.
Yeah, I mean,
he'll be a much better worker than most of Ring of Honor or most of anybody who's not at the tippy top of Dynamite.
If I'm being honest with you, I'm kind of surprised that he's signed with AEW. I thought we might see him back in WWE at some point because he was a kind of a lost talent under the Vince regime. And
yeah,
I mean, I guess he got released under Triple H's tenure, but that's just, I don't know. It's just kind of interesting to me that this is where we're at with him. I kind of agree with Wrestling Observer Newsletter here. Like, I don't know that he needs to be on Ring of Honor. I think he should be. I think he should. He's AEW. He's Dynamite. He's Collision. He'd make Collision watchable.
Absolutely, and I think he'd. I like his faction with the Righteous. I feel like the Righteous is going to be a good fit for him. He can be sort of a guitar playing, sort of kind of weird, white suit wearing preacher kind of thing, and that's kind of fits right into what the Righteous is doing. Kind of give the Righteous more of a mouthpiece because I don't feel like Vincent and who's the other Chooch. I don't feel like they need somebody like him to like be able to talk and
Agreed.
like be like the muscle, the minions for this guy that can talk and be charismatic and everything like that. So I think that the faction makes sense. I think that it's going to depend on how much time they get. I think that Elijah is good, and I think that if given the chance and given some time, I do think that he'll be. I think he'll be entertaining, and I'm not saying that I think he's going to be like part of he'll be in a world title picture in a year. He won't be. He'll be entertaining, and he'll make the Righteous, who is a good mid card tag team type of thing. He'll make them seem relevant, and that'll be good. And they'll be able to challenge the Hurt Syndicate and lose at a pay-per-view or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it'll be something like that. So no, I think this is a good signing, and I'm interested to see if they capitalize on it or if they fumble it, because I think there's a lot of potential for them to capitalize on it. So we'll have to see. So far, so good, but we'll see. Don't fuck it up.
Moving forward, Ray Fenix addressed his contract status, confirming that he remains under contract with AEW and is currently under an extension. He emphasized that he is waiting for further direction from AEW regarding his status, whether that means being called to work or receiving clarification on his situation. In his own words, he stated, "Yes, basically I'm still under contract with an additional extension. I am waiting to be used to be called to work or to have my situation clarified a little bit more." So Fenix, has, had tweeted and deleted a couple of things here in the last month or so.
I think he was pretty frustrated.
I think he's still pretty frustrated.
Yeah, I think his head was a little cooler though during this interview than it was when he was frustrated tweeting and deleting.
Yeah, so that's disheartening, I'm sure, especially because he has to be wondering what things would look like had they had been signed together, because seemingly Penta is Intercontinental Championship bound here, WrestleMania,
Over as fuck and
Yes.
selling merchandise like he's all three members of the New Day. Yeah.
And you got the first time the Cerro Miedo thing, like, over, you know what I mean? Like,
and the walk, the Penta walk.
Yep.
I feel like that was they captured something that AEW didn't, which was sort of giving Penta an entrance. And I feel like looking back on it, it was a thing that he had in Lucha Underground.
Yeah, I mean, he did it in AEW too. Like, he, the little surfer walk and the little strut and all of that shit. But it's just, for whatever reason, with the WWE production and creative behind it, like, it's so much more. We talk
feels
about
like a big deal.
Yeah, we talk about these entrances and shit. And, like, I'll use Edge versus Adam Copeland, WWE to AEW, right? We talked about it when Adam Copeland made his debut. It just feels less than, because Edge would come out and he would hit the pose and the pyro. Didn't matter where the fuck they were, right? They could have been in Wheeling, West Virginia for a Monday Night Raw, and the pyro is going off. But then you go over to AEW and Adam Copeland comes out and he hits the pose, and it's just like fire extinguisher mist.
Little sparkler goes off.
Yeah. Well, that would have been the exploding barbed wire death match.
Yeah, he walks to the middle of the ring in the middle of the middle school gymnasium there.
Yeah, with the sparkler. Exactly. Oh, say, can you see? But
it doesn't feel big.
No.
And what AEW or what WWE did with Penta is they took Penta and they're like, all right, we're gonna make you look important. Ready? Do that walk thing. You're gonna come out and there's gonna be fucking explosions behind you. And he's like, and there's like, and where everybody's like, ooh,
and it's getting layers now. I feel like it's a little bit more of a bigger production every week. They get like flame launchers and shit now.
Yeah. We were actually talking about that when Drew came out on Friday, and like he's like standing there like, yeah, and like fire shoots out of every turnbuckle that he's not standing on. And I was like, how terrifying is that? Like, what if it comes out of the wrong turnbuckle? What if you stand on the wrong turnbuckle? What if you get disoriented or something? Like, go up like you're James Hetfield in the 90s. Like, it's fucking crazy. So, but yeah, Penta seems like a big deal. And it's been, how could Ray be the same big deal? What do they do with Ray Fenix? Does Ray Fenix even go? I don't know. I guess time will tell. I feel like Penta was always sort of like Ray was more like impressive dancing around the turnbuckles and the ropes and things and with the acrobatics. But Penta was always sort of more the character as opposed to Ray. So I don't know how well it translates if Ray just joins Penta as sort of his like number two, as kind of like, so they can have a tag match. They can be kind of together. I don't know. Do they create a little faction? Do they give him Zelina Vega to have, somebody who can talk and do this stuff? Do they stick him maybe with Andrade, something like that? Who knows? But I'm interested to see, because I feel like there's a lot of potential there for it, and obviously there's no potential with Ray Fenix just sitting at home, being punished for like what was honestly like he broke his leg on television, right? Like for the company, and he's being punished for it by being forced to sit at home and ride out his extended contract because, well, you did break your leg. Like that's Vinnie Mac shit, man. Like that's
no doubt.
That's bullshit, is what that is. Like,
and then to continue on with this, we've got somebody like Ricky Starks who's just been in contract jail, just in limbo, right? And I think the highlight of today has been the news that has come out that he's been released.
Yeah. Ricky Starks has so much potential, and I mean, we've put him over for years. Is that like the guy oozes charisma every time he was in the ring. Every time he was in the ring, it was impressive. He looks impressive. His wrestling is impressive. His mic work is impressive. Like, there's nothing not impressive about Ricky Starks. Like, but for whatever reason, he was saddled as like somebody's third wheel chooch every time.
Yeah, and like, you know, he was in Team Taz for a little while, and he felt like a big deal. You know, and then he went on and he won the tag team championships, I think, two more times after that. One with Big Bill,
yeah,
and then maybe that was the only time.
I think that was the longest time. And he was with Jericho for a minute too, and that's when they right. And then he and Jericho had a little feud.
Yeah, I think they were just feuding.
Yeah,
but I mean,
that was where the Jericho vortex started, and Jericho was like, "Oh, who have I buried?" And then everybody was like, "Well, Sammy Guevara, Ricky Starks, Big Bill, Hook." The list just goes off. Fucking everybody. Jake Hager.
So real excited for what the future is going to bring for Ricky Starks. I imagine WWE bound for certain.
I mean, he and Cody are big time friends. I couldn't, at least I would love, honest to God, if he shows up in NXT tomorrow, but I think he would be great in NXT. I think they could put him on like the Ethan Page route and just be like, nope, here, you're going to be a big deal in NXT. Let's get you there. Let's get you, get you under that WWE umbrella, but, get you.
Yep, let's get you up to speed with how we work, how we operate, what all that looks like.
But also bring eyes to NXT, here.
And then we'll see about getting you out on the main roster on the road, because that's where you deserve to be.
Yeah, and we got, because they got WrestleMania coming up. Everything, nobody's doing shit on the main roster between now and WrestleMania. We're building to that. You're not putting anybody new out there, per se. Maybe one who we'll talk about soon. But
so
somebody else was released today.
Miro was released today.
He was. I don't care to see Miro ever again.
Really?
I don't care to see him ever again.
Really?
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Really?
Yeah, I think I'm good. I mean, I'd love for him to prove me wrong, but I think I'm good.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm good. You don't feel that way?
No, I mean, I don't think he ever got a fair shake in AEW. But how much of that was because of him?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is it like, who is he? Did he get in his own way? He seemed like he might be the kind of guy that gets in his own way.
Yeah. Maybe believes his own hype.
Yeah, and I think that Rusev Day was over, but is it? I don't think it's over now. I don't think it would be over today.
No.
I think he shows up. I think he doesn't look impressive at all, especially without Lana. His mic skills suck.
Oh yeah.
Redeem your balls.
So I don't know. That'll be interesting to see what happens there. I wasn't expecting that from you. I thought for sure you'd be excited that Miro was released.
No, I mean, I'm glad for him if that's what he wanted, but I'm good. I'm good on Miro. I don't need to see him in AEW. I don't need to see him in WWE. I don't need to see him. I don't think there's a spot for him, and I don't think there was talk a few years ago that he didn't really want to be a pro wrestler anymore. So that's fine. I think I'm good on him. I think his ship has sailed. If he proves me wrong, great, but I'm not. I don't expect him to. Interesting.
I didn't see that going that way at all.
Sorry for Miro, but I was so excited when he got to AEW. I was like, oh, good. Maybe they can make something out of this guy. This guy that was misused and fucking Bobby Lashley's sisters and that weird cuck angle and all that shit. Like maybe something good can happen. And there was a twinkle there, and then it just And like you would hear stories about it, they'd call him, hey, you coming? Or we're live in 2 hours, and he'd be like, oh, I'm in Bulgaria. Like, what the fuck? I mean, so maybe he just is done. Maybe he's in Bulgaria doing Bulgarian brute things, and that's the end of it.
And then the last list, the last person on the list of releases, even though like contract just kind of expired, none other than the Dark Knight of Dumbledore.
Tommy End. Wait, that's not Tommy End. That's not the man I wrestled in Dusseldorf, Germany. Aleister Black, a.k.a. Aleister Black, a.k.a. Malachi Black. Friend of the show, Derek writes, favorite wrestler of all time.
I've been sitting on a Dark Knight of Dumbledore One Fall WrestleCast t-shirt design for like 3 years. I almost made it today. If I'd had an additional 35 minutes in my day today, I would have made that shirt.
I would have loved to see it. If you'd have taken a hoodie off and just had a Dark Knight of Dumbledore t-shirt on. But the good news is that could be the most relevant t-shirt in One Fall WrestleCast history, because he could debut anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime.
I would not
next show we do.
I would not be surprised to hear the Coffin Creek at some point, because
I've got Raw on now just in case that happens, and I keep looking. If you watch my head do that, it's because I'm looking. AJ Styles is going to fight with Dom Mysterio, which I didn't know I needed, but I think I need it in my life. So we're going to go with that.
I can't wait to watch Raw after we're done.
It's been pretty good so far. But yeah, it's I'm excited for him because he's one of Triple H's guys in the same level that like Tommaso Ciampa is one of Triple H's guys. And I think that he comes back and he gets a push. He gets a lot of time and he gets things, So I'm very excited to see him. I'm very excited for him to come back to WWE and be treated like, not to say that he wasn't treated like a big deal in AEW. He was at first, and he got a lot of cool vignettes, and it got a lot of spooky stuff, and he got a lot of big, but like everything that he was put in was just so botched. That's probably the best way to put it, right?
Right.
His feud with Cody, botched. That's the only way you can say that. It was botched.
Yeah,
Cody still carries the scars from that plastic table being lit on fire and melting onto his own back as he suplexed himself through it. Still one of the worst moments in AEW television.
Oh, yeah.
Now, neither of those guys, nobody who was involved in that is part of AEW anymore.
Well, I think that the Cody Rhodes in-ring weigh-in with, what was the black dude from England? What was his name?
Oh, was that Anthony Ogogo?
Yeah, they did the in-ring weigh-in thing. That was a pretty fucking bad segment.
Yeah, well, also that guy's name was Anthony Ogogo. Like, you don't get over with that name. Like, that's worse than Dolph Ziggler. Jeffrey Penis is a better name than Anthony Ogogo.
I think that's his birth name, bub.
Whatever, change it. Pick something else, man. Tony the Cock or whatever.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Pick something.
So, some big names in AEW showing some freedom, and Friday night while we were watching SmackDown, the news updates were just fucking raw.
Some roster space opened up all of a sudden.
It's kind of crazy. It's almost like we knew that this news was going to break, and it started off. I saw that WWE released the Authors of Pain and Paul Ellering in the middle of a feud, seemingly abruptly ended the feud with the Wyatt Six. And now the Authors of Pain and Paul Ellering are gone. I think Paul needed to go. I think it was time for Paul to go.
Yeah, how many times were like they'd hand the mic to like one of the guys in AOP who barely speaks English, and it was like, Paul Ellering is right fucking there. And you let Akam talk? Akam can't talk. Akam, they handed Akam that microphone and he almost shit his pants looking at it. Like Paul Ellering was right there. It's like saying, "Oh, let's let this guy talk," and there's Jimmy Hart. It was stupid. It was like, okay, this guy was the mouth of the Road Warriors. He's right there, and you just gonna let fucking the authors of Pain? Like their English is not even that good. Like, what the fuck? Why would you do? Why is Paul Ellering even there if you're gonna do that? Also, Karrion Kross is a great talker. He's right there. What? Anyway, so
did you just say something nice about Kevin?
I think I did. Kevin's been winning me over lately. I have to say that Kevin has his character work, particularly himself. I think Karrion Kross as sort of this like maniacal backstage pot stirrer, getting into everybody's head and fucking them up. I think this character, I wasn't into it at first, but the more that it happens and the more credence that it's lent, the more I'm enjoying it. He's also looking less like Kevin and more like a fucking sadistic maniac who just talks his way through everything. And I'm here for it. So,
his facials are fucking on point, bro.
Yeah. All the work he has put in over the last year is showing, and he is doing the best work of his career right now. And I do not say that lightly.
Yeah, but he hadn't been in the ring in an awful long time.
But he's on TV every week. He gets a segment every Friday. And the last couple times he was in the ring, he won clean.
Yeah, but he's not been in the ring an awful lot.
That's fair.
It's hard to get. I mean, I don't know. What do I know?
I mean, you're right, and at this point, I feel like it's at a crossroads, right? It could go either way. Does he become, this maniacal madman also who wins matches in the ring, or does he fade into non-existence with the rest of his? What was the name of his faction that now doesn't exist anymore?
Final Testament.
Final Testament, because that's it. They're gone. That doesn't exist anymore. There's no more Final Testament. It's just him.
Yeah, it's just him and Scarlet.
Just him and Scarlet. So that's it. Which is fine. I didn't think that Final Testament was a great faction anyway. But yeah, I'm interested to see what he has to do now. I think the next. Obviously, like, he's only going to be sort of a backstage, like, pot stirrer between now and WrestleMania. I'm interested to see what happens with him post-WrestleMania, because he wasn't even in the Rumble. So,
sorry, my chair just tried to.
It looked like you almost like went down like on the Tower of Terror in Disney World. It was like where it stops and it goes. Poof! That's what it looked like. I thought you were gonna go and drop off screen real quick.
Yeah,
and I'd be like, no.
It was a little sketchy there. So, moving on in our giant list of releases this week across both companies, we have Blair Davenport, who didn't really get a chance. B. Presley, obviously, for those of you that are smarky enough to.
She came in as B. Presley though too. Like, she was B. Presley for, I would say, the majority of her WWE career. Because was she not in NXT UK as B. Priestley?
No. Yes, she was as B. Priestley in NXT.
Yeah, and that was the majority of her WWE run. I think she did get. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was she brought up to the main roster, or was she only ever in NXT?
No, she was brought up to the main roster. So she got released as B. Presley, NXT UK, when that shut down. Went and made a name, a pretty decent name for herself on the indies after her NXT run, and then made her way back to NXT as Blair Davenport, and then was on the main roster for. I mean, she's been on the main roster for the last year, but we just haven't seen her very much.
Right. I mean, they brought her up. I remember when they drafted her.
Yeah, because they brought her up. They brought up Isla Dawn, and they brought up
Alba Fire.
Alba Fire, and then the Intercontinental Champion. What the fuck's her name?
Lyra Valkyria.
Yeah, Lyra Valkyria. So they all came. That whole crop of women came up right around the same time.
I don't think that I don't think that Blair Davenport was ever. She may have had a match. She may have had 2 matches on the main roster.
Yeah, I mean she was like in the mix with them with the tag team thing, and then when Alba Fire and Isla Dawn were the tag team champions, she was in the mix with them, but went away and never to return. So moving on from her, also we just talked about her. Isla Dawn has been released from WWE.
It's weird they released her and not Alba Fire.
Yeah, I thought so too. But maybe Alba Fire, she's been around for quite a bit longer. I think she's got some experience under her belt. Maybe they offered her a coaching position of some sort.
What's her because Alba Fire is a new name for her. What was her?
That's hold on, I'm looking. Alba Fire.
Because she had. I can do this too.
Well, she's only 32 years old.
Kaylee Ray, that's right.
That's it.
Yeah, she was Kaylee Ray in NXT UK, was brought over to NXT before NXT UK went under, and that's when she was renamed Alba Fire. I think she did challenge for the NXT Championship during what's her name? She got released for doing porn.
Mandy Rose.
Mandy Rose, yeah, I did think she did challenge Mandy Rose for the title, and lost, obviously.
She got fired for doing porn.
That's kind of what happened.
Not me.
But yeah, now I guess she's still around, so that's good. I wonder what'll happen. Yeah, maybe she's offered a coaching position. Maybe we'll see her as a. Maybe she'll be on TV. Who knows?
Yeah,
Maybe they got big plans for her. Maybe she's the next Intercontinental Champion.
I mean, that'd be good too, huh?
I mean, shit. They let fucking. They let Mi Chin be cringy every fucking Friday.
Here you go. Is she like your new Joey Janela?
She might be. Honest to God. Her segments are so bad every week. It's so bad.
Fuck. You're not into the.
No. It's so bad. Dude, her finisher is called Eat the Feet. Terrible. Just fucking terrible.
It's a double entendre.
It's fucking terrible is what it is. It's double fucking terrible is what it is.
Defeat.
Yeah, I get it. Terrible.
Defeat, as in losing, a loser.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible is what it
is.
Speaking of which, apparently her husband was backstage at Dynamite this week.
Oh, yeah?
Keith Lee.
He's still not cleared to.
He's not dead.
Pete, though, so until that happens, I don't know how.
Man, remember when Keith Lee was a big deal?
Yeah, I do.
8 years ago.
I don't even think it was that long ago.
Hell, it feels like that ship has sailed. It feels like that ship sank. It feels like that ship has plankton on it already, and like there's fucking coral reefs growing through it now.
Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? Keith
Lee SquarePants.
Moving on with the releases, Cedric Alexander has been released from his WWE contract. Long overdue.
That's a long time coming, yeah.
I like Cedric a lot, but I think that to me he's AEW imminent, right? Like like there's no way that
he's custom made for AEW. I think the only reason they held on to him as long as they did because they knew that him and AEW would be a big deal.
Yeah, but they released him at the right time because the Hurt Syndicate's taken off over there. There's 0% chance that he goes to AEW and joins the Hurt Syndicate. 0% chance
That he does or doesn't.
that he doesn't. There's no way he's going to do that. Why would he do that? That makes no sense at all.
I don't know. I mean, I think he's definitely AEW bound.
No, for sure. He's 100% going to join the Hurt Syndicate. I was being snarky.
Being facetious?
Yes.
Stop being facetious, Walter.
I don't want
anyway, Joey. Well, Dawson's Creek throwback for those of you who are fucking old like us. Anyway, yeah, no, I like I said, I think they only held on to him as long. I think they were just waiting for AEW to be like kind of shitty. Like, okay, they're clearly like not a threat. Like, we're gonna make TNA like the number 2 company with this partnership, so they can have Cedric now, and he can go do the thing that he's actually good at in the company that like values that. So I hope that he has similar success in AEW that like Swerve is having and has had. Although I'm still pissed that like they fucking let Daniel Bryan beat Swerve for the title. Like I'm still pissed about that. Fucking Bryan Danielson, fucking chooch. Oh, and then he just goes away forever. I hope he wraps his head in gauze some more. Fucking dickhead. Anyway, fuck him. Yeah, so good on him. I hope that it all works out for him. Because like you said, I'm a fan. I like him, and I think that he could thrive in AEW, and I think that he would make that product better. And I want AEW to be a better product because I want to be able to watch wrestling every day of the week, and I want it all to be good. So fucking do it.
I agree. And then last but not least, on this Release Therapy Monday, Sonya Deville has been released from her WWE contract. Now,
that was stunning.
That was absolutely shocking. I think
Stunned.
that
I'm still shocked. I still don't know what to think. I want to hear your opinion because I still don't know what to think.
Well, something has come out here in the last couple of hours that kind of sheds light onto it. Actually, it's a great talking point. Sonya Deville informed WWE that she would not be re-signing her contract.
Oh. I guess that changes everything. I guess that makes sense. And while they were doing releases, they're like, meh, fuck it.
We'll just make this public and just call it a...
We'll just call a spade and let the Queen of Spades take over your little faction here. Now they're just a tag team.
Yeah. So that's interesting. What does this mean for Sonya Deville? Does she head over to AEW in a women's division that's seemingly growing and trying to get better?
She would be I mean, you know, we put her over in that managerial role, in that authority figure role. I thought that was the best work of her career. And I think that if she has the ability to do that on television for AEW, that only makes AEW better. Does she go to AEW though at all? And I don't know. She obviously has an MMA background. Maybe she's just tired of being on the fucking road and wants to go home and coach MMA at home
and be with her hot wife.
Yeah. I mean, there's no shame in that. She had a good career, solid mid-carder for the whole time, never really took off. There was a point in time where she was like kind of a main event contender, but it just never happened. It never materialized. She's not going anywhere with the Pure Fusion Collective. Like that was dead in the water. It's still dead in the water.
Like it's extremely unfair for two such beautifully attractive women to be married to one another. Like
it's unfair for the rest of humanity. Is that what you're trying to say?
Good God.
Yeah, but that's maybe she's just going home to be happy, and I think at this point she's owed that. She's been through a lot. That whole stalking thing that was crazy. That shit was fucking crazy. Maybe she's going home to hang out with her wife and enjoy her money and coach MMA, or maybe even coach wrestling, start a wrestler. She's a good wrestler.
Yeah,
she could do that. Just hang out. Where is she from?
I don't remember. I think she lives in Florida. They live in Florida though, for sure.
Let's see. Daria Barrento. She also has a cool name.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe she gets into acting or something.
I mean, she'd be great at that. She's been billed from Los Angeles, California, billed from Shamong, New Jersey. Oh yeah, she was on Tough Enough. She's been around a long ass time.
Yeah.
She's only 31.
Yeah.
She's been around for a long time to only be 31. Holy shit. Yeah. I don't know. I think that it's still shocking to me. I still don't have like good words because like I feel like there's a ton of potential there, and I feel like every time she's been given a microphone, she's made it be worthwhile television. I feel like her in ring work was fine. But yeah, like you said, like if she was like, well, I'm not going to resign, and like that contract's probably up at the end of the year, or no, that contract's probably up at right around or right before WrestleMania. That's how contracts work, right? Like, oh, I'm over at WrestleMania, so like 90 days from now, oh, well, you're released. All right, that's it. Her contract would have been up right after WrestleMania anyway, because that's how they bring people in right after WrestleMania. All right. I'm interested. I imagine they're still going to trot out Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark every Friday and have them lose and then be heels, kind of like in the Nasty Boys kind of way, but as women. From now on, I'm a big Shayna Baszler fan, so like this does not bode as well for me for my fandom of her. But Shayna's like 43 or 44 now. Oh, Shayna Baszler. I can look this up. I have a computer right in front of me.
Sure do.
I have a computer. It's right in goddamn front of me. Shayna Baszler is 44 years old. So like Shayna's probably on the Shayna's fantastic. Shayna ain't gonna wrestle much past 45 or 46. Like, how old's Trish Stratus? 46?
Something like that.
Let's just put this into. She's 49.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, could Shayna go till she's 50? Absolutely. Is that gonna be? Is she gonna go full time on the road? You know, this is probably her last contract too. I know she re-signed a year-ish ago, so she's probably got a 3 to 5 year contract, but that's probably her last contract. I don't know, man. It's one of those things where it's like I feel bad because I like Zoe Stark, but she's going to be left as sort of the odd man out because now, you know, her little thing's going to break up. I don't know that she's got enough charisma or anything to be a singles competitor. She's sort of a henchman, but we'll see. We'll see what happens to her because she's still pretty young, I think. But yeah, still shocking. Still very shocked.
Yeah, did not see that one coming at all, especially because she's
Zoe
been
Stark
such a
is 31, so Zoe Stark's in the prime of her career.
Yes, absolutely. But it was quite jarring because you know she's a staple on television right now. We see her every week, like you said.
And she has been for years.
Yeah, yeah.
From being an authority figure to
really enjoyed her work as that authority figure.
Really did. Really, that was like
fantastic.
That was like right as sort of WWE sort of started to come out of their funk of like just being this like shit product. You know, like I can always think back to the point in time where like the McMahons and Triple H stood in the ring and pointed and laughed at Baron Corbin. That's like the lowest point of what was WWE. Like that. We're like, we're gonna listen to you, the fans, and then they proceeded to still like just put out shit for the next year. And then all of a sudden, like, okay, we brought in Pierce, but then they put Sonya Deville in with Adam Pierce. That dynamic was amazing and it was great. And they had like 6 to 8 segments every week, and it was just good. And it made everything fun again. And wrestling became fun again. And she was a big part of that. Or at least WWE became fun again. And she was a big part of that. So to see her just kind of abruptly be like on TV one week, they were in the Rumble. She was in the Rumble.
Yeah.
And now she's gone. So, I wish her the best because I always liked
Absolutely.
her.
Me
Always
too.
liked her.
Me too. I hope that this works out for her. Yeah, so it seems to me like while AEW made some releases, WWE made some releases, possibly to clear up some financial pieces in the talent budget, to maybe right some wrongs created by AEW with
And
Ricky
created by Vince
Starks.
McMahon. Let's not lay it all at Tony's feet, because while Tony definitely fumbled some humans here, I think that Vince fumbled them first, and which is the only reason they ended up in AEW in the first place.
Well, not Ricky Starks, but
Well, you're right, not Ricky Starks. Ricky's gonna be a fucking star. If they bring Ricky in, put him in NXT, bring him up to the main roster after WrestleMania, and do him right, Ricky's a fucking star.
yeah,
He's a star.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely a star. It's going to be really, really fun to see what happens here in the coming months. As far as where all of these released folks wind up. Obviously, we will be watching as we always are.
I have a hot take for Aleister Black, because we're going to call him Aleister Black now.
Yeah, sure.
I have a feeling that we're going to see kind of a neat, maybe even intercontinental run, but I feel like he's going to end up. I feel like we're going to feel disappointed. 2 years from now, if he comes back to WWE in the next couple of months or tonight, fuck it. I feel like there's going to be a letdown. We're going to be like, man, I so thought that was going to be better. Just saying. That's how I'm feeling about him.
Yeah, well.
And that's now I want to see him, and I want to be proven wrong. And it's not the same level as Miro, where it's like, I'm good. Like, I want to see this. Like, I want to see what's going to happen. But I'm trying to temper my expectations because I don't think he's going to light the world on fire necessarily.
Hot take. So, we'll see. We'll see. Well, Tom, guess there's just one piece of business. All right, bud. What's your match of the week?
Match of the week. Actually, it happened earlier tonight. Well, before we got on here, so we got Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Damage Control, and Damage Control did pull out the win by pinning Raquel Rodriguez. But wow, was it cool! Okay, so Dakota Kai's back, which is great. I'm glad Dakota's able to work again, medically cleared. Wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. Liv Morgan continues to get better week in and week out. Liv Morgan is so good in what she does, and just her in-ring banter and just the way she flips her hair when she takes bumps and stuff. It's just like you can tell she's like a bump first kind of person and like kind of wrestler, and like her heel work is great. And I wasn't the biggest fan of her babyface work, but since she's been in Damage Control and with Dirty Dom and all that stuff, I'm a little tired of her and Rhea. And it feels like we're getting back to her and Rhea. And I hope that's not the case, but really good match. A lot of good work by Liv. And yeah, that's my match of the week.
Cool. Well, my match of the week comes from Monday Night Raw last week. And it was two matches, really. Penta and Ludwig Kaiser. What a beautiful piece of business that was. And then the main event, Sami Zayn versus CM Punk, Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Those guys just said, hey, we're going to go out here and have an old school Ring of Honor match.
We're going to tear the house down.
And we're going to fucking tear the house down. Yeah. And that's exactly what they did. And it was awesome.
It was awesome. I'm very excited for the chamber. Like, Elimination Chamber is March 1st. I need to like figure out what we got going on. But Saturday, March 1st, I do not have the kids. Might be having a party.
Well, I will be in my new situation. So,
Oh right.
Yeah,
We'll talk about it all. We'll talk about it offline. Maybe you know, there's always. Hey, bring the fan. You guys can hang out. Stay.
yeah, that's
Ooh. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So those were my two matches of the week. Both thought they were both fucking awesome. Ludwig Kaiser and Penta was two people.
I'm worried about Ludwig Kaiser in the long run, especially. Oh, we didn't talk about the one other guy that got released, which was Giovanni Vinci.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
He's a real one, but man, did they do him dirty when Kaiser hurt him, and then he came back. He got all this fanfare, and then he got fucking squashed, and then we haven't seen him since, and now he's gone. Like,
Yeah, I forgot.
Who did he piss off?
Somebody.
He pissed somebody off because they dragged him out. They made him look like a douchebag walking in. They beat the shit out of him in 3 minutes or 3 seconds or whatever the time it was. It was not long, and then we have not seen him since, and that's the end of him. So his exit is probably the most egregious because Homie is talented.
Yeah, it looked like $1 million, but
it is not to be. So adios.
Speaking of adios, Chad Gable.
Oh yeah, he might be going to AAA for a minute.
AAA for a minute. That's interesting. It's interesting internet banter. We'll keep
Depends
our
on how
eyes
that
on it.
happens. Like let's keep it on the radar and see what because like could we be getting some just tremendous like and will they show the clips on Creed? It's funny that you say that right now because Creed brothers are challenging for the tag team titles right now without Chad Gable, but Ivy Niles there. Love Ivy Nile, by the way, and I love how they've got Ivy. Like if they remove Chad from this whole trio and have them go like I'm kind of in love with this trio without Chad because Chad I think is his own. He's not this big, but it seems like sometimes he is his own man, and he should be. But I like this. So anyway.
Should be interesting. We'll keep our eyes on it. All right, Bub. Well, I think it's we're gonna go ahead and get up on out of here, huh? Hey man, if you're still
I'm gonna throw kids into bed.
Yeah, I'm gonna go up and see what's going on there with the old with the old wife. Yeah. Yeah, man. So if you're still hanging out with us, man, we appreciate you. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Maybe even consider subscribing. That'd be awesome. Check us out over on Twitter and Instagram at @1_FallWC. That's ONE. And as always, thanks for hanging out. It's all love. We'll catch you next week. One Fall WrestleCast.
It's a shame we didn't have Derek to comment on Malachi Black. We should have just brought him in for that segment. Been like, dude, call